Thursday, May 19th. This is period number 7 as we get into, for you guys, this is our last time together, period, because we don't have this class tomorrow. So this is our last time. Let's see, from there, and then Heroes Jersey, blah, blah. From there, if you have points and you're still wanting to spend them, you can come see me after class. Technically, you can come by tomorrow if you want to. I'll still be here if you come between classes. And then I will update Skyward after school today, and then I will probably do it one more time tomorrow morning. And then after that, if you turn it in late, you'll still get credit. You just probably have to email me because I'm not going to try and track you down. All right, so conversation today. For those of you who have spoken with other kids, my goal today is not sadness. It's not what I aim for. It's, have I been trying to describe it, it is somber and serious, which is a different way of looking at things. My voice will be slightly lower as I go through and talk about things, and it's probably a lot less laughy. But I'm not trying to make you cry, and so far today we've done a pretty good job with it. But the conversation is going to hit different kids in different ways. Some kids have left my room in tears, and it's because of the conversation we have. It hits those kids differently. Other kids will have a conversation today, and it will have very little impact for you. It just sort of depends from one person to the next, and I have no idea how it's going to hit each one of you as we go through. I will be, as I speak today, it'll be a bit different than how you've seen me speak throughout the year. One, I have notes that I use because I struggle with today's conversation. And so the notes help me focus, which is not a thing you normally see me have, because I don't normally need notes because most of the stuff is up in my brain. And even though this stuff is still up in my brain, this helps me focus a bit more. I also typically, when I teach you guys, am fairly well spoken and don't pause or break down or stumble. And there is a good chance I will pause, break down, and stumble as I speak today. Because I have about an hour and a half's worth of information I would like to tell you, and I only have 30 minutes. And that's why each class is a little bit different, because each class will go a different direction, and it will depend on how I see you guys react to conversations, and different classes react to different parts of my conversation in different ways. Okay. Oh, and then behind me, I have a couple different screens I will be putting up. Sometimes they are quotes for you. Sometimes they're ones for me that just help me focus and stay with what I'm trying to get across. So it just sort of depends as we go through and do things. Okay. I hate this week. I hate this week a lot because it's an emotional roller coaster for me. I am different than a lot of teachers. I'm different than a lot of adults, period. I love my job. I love teaching. I love being in the classroom with you guys. I love being in this classroom with you guys. Even though I know we've struggled, and I know that we've had conversations, and I have reprimanded you guys in the past, I really like this class more than I thought I was going to at the beginning of this year. And that's why I don't like this week, because I like summertime. I like sleeping in. I love playing video games. I don't get to do it much during the school year. And the summertime, I pack a lot of video games in, and I get to go to the pool and I get to read. But I don't get to do the thing that I truly love, which is being around kids. It's what I was born to do, and I didn't realize it until much later in my life. And unlike some teachers who look forward to summer and being away, I don't. I get depressed the beginning of the summertime because I'm not doing the thing that I enjoy. And so this week is rough on me because I know I enjoy the break coming up and my rest, but I'm not going to get a chance to see you guys. And more so, I've come to the realization that over the years, today is the last day I see a lot of you. for many of you, this is the last time we ever see each other, because we don't see each other again after today unless you choose to, because you move on to 8th grade and then high school and then college. We don't see each other unless you choose to come back and see me. So our interaction is in your hands, which for me puts a lot of weight on today. It means this is my last time to have an impact on you. This is my last time to influence you in any way, whether you come back and see me or not. And this class in particular, I'll be honest, I did not like you guys at the beginning of the year. You guys really made it tough as a teacher. And then you made me like you. And that sucks. Teaching is so much easier when you don't like kids. It's so much simpler because when you don't like kids, disciplining kids is easy. Kicking you out in the hallway, making you stand, yelling at you for your language, yelling at you for the things that you guys bring up, it's easier when you don't like kids. But, as I've mentioned to you guys before, you guys showed me personalities. And every single one of you that did a thing that frustrated me or made me not like you did more things to make me like you. So, I hate you for that, and I love you for that at the same time, because it's made this year a struggle for me. But it's also why I do what I do. No, sorry, the one that's up there in blue. My classes that are easy to teach are good, and they keep me sane, but they're not my important classes. It's easy to teach kids that behave. It's easy to teach kids that come from easy, good home lives. That's an easy part of teaching, but it's not the important part of teaching. It's not why I teach. I don't teach because I want to interact with easy, good, smart kids. I teach because I want the world to be a better place. And I don't think that starts except through you guys. We don't make the world a better place except interacting with you. So, this class, as much of a struggle as it has been for me, has also been one of the most rewarding, because you guys went from a group of kids that drove me insane to a group of kids I truly enjoyed. And that means a lot to me as a teacher. I told you stories about my life this past week for a couple different reasons. One of them is I wanted to earn your trust. I don't think my story today, my conversation with you has weight if you don't trust me, if you don't trust me as an adult. Everything I did this school year was trying to earn your trust, was trying to be that adult that you guys saw as being worthwhile of your trust, which is something I don't think enough teachers do. I think too many teachers assume that you should like a teacher because they're an adult, or that you should trust a teacher because they're an adult, and that's not the way life goes. We need to earn your trust the same way that you earn our trust. And so I've tried to do that this year. My stories this week was my way of earning your trust. I bared my soul and my most painful moments because I wanted you to give my words weight today, because I wanted you guys to understand how important my conversation with you is. And I did not tell you all the things in my life because there's simply not enough time. I used to do different stories at different times, and I've sort of refined them down to the ones I think are the most important. And I've mentioned kids come back and talk to me after school. 8th graders, 7th graders have this year also, high school kids. And almost every time kids come back and they tell me, you don't understand what I'm going through, I have to point out that I don't come from a place of happiness. Growing up, my life was not good. My life was not happy and easy. I come from dysfunction, and I come from pain and trauma. Just to give you guys a quick idea of where I come from, my birth father abandoned me when I was 6 years old. And so I don't know who he is. From 6 years old on, I've never seen him. My mom remarried my stepdad, and I was raised by him, who I considered my father, and then they got divorced when I was 16. Just as I was starting to figure out who I was, they separated, and then my mom got remarried again. I have grown up with both my grandparents being alcoholics, to the point where you could not go and hang out at my grandparents' house on the weekends for fear of being embarrassed because of what they would choose to do. I grew up with my uncle going in and out of rehab and jail for drugs and for his choices in life. I was physically abused by a family member from the time I was a small child until I was a teenager, that I had to come to terms with and that I've had to deal with in one form or another. You can come in, Alana. And I don't tell you this. Did you need something, kiddo?
I'm looking for, I thought Ashton's in here because I have a sheet.
He's not. He's in my first period.
You know what his 7th period is?
I don't. If you check in the office, they can tell you.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, kiddo. I don't tell you that to get pity from you. I tell you that because I think it's important for you to know that I come from dysfunction, that I come from pain and heartache, because I know that I am a role model for a lot of kids and that kids look up to me. And I think it's important for you to know that my life was not always perfect, that I was not born in some perfect family that was the idyllic idea of how things could be. And I tell you that because I want you to know that you can come out the other side of this, that you can come from abuse and alcoholism, you can come from trauma, you can come from all of these horrible things, and there's hope for you. I can't say you're going to turn out normal because, but you can turn out okay. I'm pretty happy with who I am, and I think that's what I want for you. With this class, more than any other one I have. Yes, dear.
Sorry, what's his last name?
Redd, R-E-D-D.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. I have taught for 20-some years, 23 years, and part of that is I watch kids. I'm not a teacher who doesn't stay in contact with kids. So I see kids in 8th grade and in high school and from there. And what that means for me is I see paths in front of you. I look at you and I see kids that you remind me of. I see these paths of kids who went on to make good choices and these kids who went on to make poor choices. And I worry because you made me care about you. I don't want you to be on that path of pain. And I think every kid has two paths in front of you as you go forward. A path of light and a path of dark. A path of happiness and a path of pain. And what's tough on me is looking at you guys and not knowing which path you are going to choose. The fact that I've had kids come back as freshmen, girls who were pregnant, and it surprised me the first time that I had that happen, that I would not have thought that I would be someone that someone would turn to, and to come back and be crying in my room because they didn't know what to do with their life after that choice. I've had the boy come back who was 16 and a half and dropped out of school and was working at Kroger, and his parents were disowning him, and he had nowhere to go, and he didn't know what to do, and he was living here in Fishers. But I've also had those kids who were screw-ups in 7th grade, who were the kids who got in trouble and failed everything, and then went on to be amazing kids in high school. Some of our best counselors for Camp Tecumseh were kids that were the biggest screw-ups in junior high, because who you are in junior high does not define who you are, which is both good and bad, because it scares the crap out of me, because I don't know which path you guys are going to choose. I don't know if you are going to choose that path where you turn your life around and good things happen, or if you give in to that darkness. And part of what hurts me is in this class, I know you guys struggle. I'm aware of way more home life than I should be, of things that you guys are struggling with. And I know that there's a lot of kids in this class who are struggling with those same paths, because you guys are dealing with abuse at home. You guys are dealing with neglectful parents, and that you guys are struggling with who you are, and that hurts, because I can't fix your life. I can't fix any of your lives, but I can try to help you, which is what I want to do. Is I want to try and help guide you. I can't make choices for you. No one can make choices for you. Your parents can't, your friends can't, teachers can't. I can't. What I can do is attempt to influence you. I can attempt to help guide you. That's what I did this year. When it was little things like asking you guys not to say slurs against each other, when it was little things asking you guys not to cuss or to not say the hateful things, I'm not doing that because I don't like you. I'm doing that for the opposite, because I want the best for you, and I don't want you to live in a world where the best you is not possible. When you're a kid, it's easy to assume every household is like your household. That every house, every home and family is like the home and family you come from, because it's all you know. For me growing up, I assumed every family had divorce. I assumed every family had alcoholic family members, and that every family had people in them that was in and out of jail, and that every kid had some kind of physical abuse that was coming from a family member, because that's what I knew. And I assumed every family had that. And it wasn't until junior high that I realized that wasn't true, where I became more aware of other kids, where I became aware of the struggles that other people have, and it was not the same as mine. So here's what I'm throwing out to you. Some of you have good home lives. Some of you have two parents at home who have dinner with you when you come home, and they ask about your day, and they tell you they love you, and they punish you when you do something wrong, and you never see them get drunk, you never see them be abusive, you never see this dark side of things. If that is your life, that is good. That's a happy thing. There's no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that. But what you need and what you have to understand is that not every kid has that. That not every 12 and 13-year-old gets to go home to that. Not every kid in our school, not every kid in this class goes home to that. I know I have kids in my classes who have abusive parents, I have kids who have already come and talked to me this year who are in tears after school because they don't want to go home, because home is not a happy place, because home terrifies them. I've had a kid in my room in tears because they don't want Monday to come. because Monday means they spend the entire summer with their family, and they have alcoholics in the house, and they don't know what to do, and they don't know how to escape it. What you have to understand is that there are kids next to you who are dealing with that. This year, next year, as you move through life, that there are people handling those same situations. That is too much for a 13-year-old to handle. That is too much for a teenager to deal with. That makes a kid angry. That makes a kid sad. You want to know why we have bullies in the world? You want to know why we have anger and hatred in the world? It's because there are kids who have to deal with that. And when you're 12 and 13 years old, 14, 15, 16, and you are at home and your home life sucks, and you see other kids who have good homes, it makes you jealous, and it hurts, and it makes you angry, and you lash out. And I understand that. I understand why you lash out. I've had the kids come into my room after school and talk about being bullied. And then I've had the bully come into my room after school in tears, talking about why they do what they do. And it makes it real hard to hate a kid when you find out why they do what they do. So what I ask of you is, if you are the kid that has that good life, if you are the kid that has that happiness and you have those supportive parents, to understand what's out there. And that I ask you to be forgiving of those other kids and understand that when they lash out, they don't hate you. They are unhappy and they're trying to figure out how to carry this weight. It is too much weight for them to carry. If you are the kid that has that home life, I wish I could tell you that everything is going to be okay. I wish I could tell you that we can solve it and make it better. But that would be lying to you, because that's not the way it works. Sometimes life sucks. That's why you have to find the way to control your path, because there are bad parents out there. And I wish there weren't. I wish every parent was loving and supportive, but not every parent is. Some parents are screwed up. Parents are human, and humans are screwed up. And some of you guys have too much that you have to carry because your parents put too much on you. The guardians in your house put too much weight on you for have to carry. So what I ask of you is to find that strength. And I know it's not easy. That's why I told you my past. That's why I told you about what I've gone through, so that you understand you can come out the other side. There will be struggles, and there will be days when it sucks, and there will be days when you hurt, but you can absolutely get to the other side of this. Okay. With parents. Partly why I hold you guys responsible in my class is I have realized that there are kids I have in class whose parents don't hold them responsible for their actions. That there are kids whose parents don't punish them when they make poor choices. And you probably are aware of some of these kids, friends of yours, conversations you've had. These are kids who can, and for some of you it might be you, can get F's in class and they don't get in trouble, stay out late, don't get reprimanded. They make poor choices and there is no one at their house who yells at them for it. And at first glance, that seems nice. That seems like every kid's dream. But it's not. What you have to understand is when an adult holds you responsible for your choices, when an adult punishes you for doing a bad thing, that's not hatred, that's love. What is scary is if you make poor choices in life, if you do that bad thing and no adult tells you that you have done a bad thing and no adult holds you responsible, that is scary, because that means you have to be your parent. You need to be held responsible for your choices. It's why I do what I do in my class. It's why I, even until this last day, keep charging you guys B points. Why I make you guys sit down. Why I make you guys make these choices in class, even though I know they're not easy. It's because if no one else ever makes you be responsible for your choices, you are not going to end up being the best version of you that I want you to be. So that's why I continue to punish you. It's why I continue to hold you responsible until the very end. If you are in a situation where you recognize that, and you know you can get away with things, and you know there is not an adult who holds you responsible for your choices, I will continue to care for you, and I will continue to have the best expectations for you, and I will continue to hold you responsible for your choices, because that is what I'm always going to do for you. But it also means you are going to be forced to grow up faster than other kids. There is going to be a responsibility that is put on you that other kids don't have to deal with. And it sucks, but it's going to be the way it is. And you are going to have to choose how strong are you going to be. When I was younger and I was going through my struggles, I chose evil for a while in my life. And I was a bully. And I was mean, because being mean to other kids made my life easier. Making other kids cry made it easier for me to deal with the pain in my life. It wasn't good, and it's not a thing I'm proud of, but it is a thing that I recognize that I did because of the pain that I was going through, that I lashed out. And it came to a head when I spent an afternoon making my younger brother cry, who's 2 years younger than me and looks up to me and loved me, and I was in a bad mood. And I wouldn't stop being mean to him until I had him in tears. And watching him cry brought me joy, because I was in a dark place. But that's not a good place to be at all. And I came to an epiphany. An epiphany is a moment in your life when you see the light, when you have to make a choice. And I decided on that day, as I was watching my brother cry. Sorry, I made it the whole day. I hate you guys. I made a choice that day that I was not going to embrace evil anymore. That I was, I'll get better in a second. Sorry, it's been a long, long day. That I was not going to go down that path. And I started, designing my own tattoo. Sorry, I don't believe in tears. I had mine surgically removed when I was a kid. Thanks. I started designing my own tattoo when I was a kid. My grandfather, who was the alcoholic, one of the best pieces of advice he ever gave me, because he was in the Navy. And I've wanted a tattoo since I was in junior high. I loved ink. I always wanted tattoos. And he said, design your own tattoo and wait 5 years. If you design your own tattoo and it has meaning, and then you wait 5 years before you get it, you'll never regret it. And so I started designing this tattoo, which is on the back of my leg, which symbolized my view on life. It's a smiling face, and around it is a snake eating its own tail, which represents evil. And then the snake is made up of a Latin phrase that says ignis aurum probat, miseria forte viros. And what that means is fire destroys man, fire strengthens gold. And what it means is the things in your life either break you or make you stronger. And I put that inside the snake because it represents evil. And I realized at a young age that you can't get away from evil. It's always going to be there. There's always going to be racism and sexism. There's always going to be somebody who hates somebody else. We can't get rid of it as long as we have humans. It's part of our nature, and it sucks, but it's what it is. And I realized I could not stop evil. What I could do was choose how I reacted to it. And so I put a smiley face in the middle of it. And that was my reminder to myself to choose happiness. So that is what I challenge you guys with, because I know that you guys struggle, and I don't get to have an impact on you guys after today. And I worry for some of you guys. I worry a lot for some of you guys. And I so badly want you guys to come back and be camp counselors for me. But I worry that that's not the path that you're going to choose. And I can't choose the path for you. Only you can choose that path. And I want you to choose happiness. I want you to choose that path. But it takes a while to get there. And so, if you enjoyed my class this year, if you enjoyed me as a teacher or a person or what I did, then give value and weight to what I say. For some of you, my talk today doesn't have a lot of weight, which is okay. For some of you, this conversation doesn't hit you as hard because you've not had to have these confrontations. You've not had to worry about drugs and alcohol yet.
Good afternoon, Chargers.
Did you do
I've
that?
got one end of the day announcement. The county track meet has been moved to HSE High School tomorrow night. All Fishers Junior High track athletes need to be at HSE High School by 5:30. Again, the county track meet has been moved to HSE High School tomorrow night. All Fishers Junior High track athletes need to be at HSE High School by 5:30. Thank you.
That I want, if my words have weight and meaning for you, then use that to shape your path. And for those of you who this does not have much meaning for now, that's okay. For some of you, it's not going to be until this summer or next year when these paths open up in front of you. And that's fine too. For others of you, this conversation hit a whole different way because your background is like my background. And some of what I talked about is similar to what you go through. My role as a teacher is different for different kids, I've learned over the years. For some of you, my room was a place for you to be happy at the end of the day. You got to come in here and see a crazy teacher make fun of kids, and you got to hang out with others, and you got to laugh and smile and enjoy things. And I'm perfectly happy if that was the job and the role I played for you. But I know for others of you, that's not the role I played. For others of you, I was much more of a parental figure for you. I was a bit of stability when you needed it, and I completely accept that also. What I want to put out there for you is my door never closes on one of my past students. I never forget a past student. I'm not going to forget you guys. If you need me moving forward, I will be here. I will never turn you away if you come back and want to talk. Whether you are the kid that you think we bonded this year, or whether you're the kid that sat there and thinks I don't know who you are, I do. I let you be who you wanted to be. But if you need to talk, if you need to be heard, I will always listen, and I will always hear you, and I will never turn you away. My remind that I use, I leave it open for past students. I have a number of 8th graders and high schoolers who are on there because it gives them a connection to happiness. Just getting my messages sometimes and seeing what I send out connects them to it. Others of them use it to send messages to me. If that's what you need from me, I will absolutely do that for you. If moving forward from today, you want to reach out, I'm more than happy to listen to you. If you decide after today that this was the last time that we interact, I respect that also. You get to make the choice that is best for you. I don't hold it against you. I don't hate you for it. I understand that that's sometimes just how life goes. But I also feel it's important for you to understand how I see things. And the fact that I want you to know that I will always support you and be there for you. This class in particular, thank you. It was fun this year for me, and this was probably one of my hardest years in my personal life, and I worked hard to not let that show with you guys, but this has been a real struggle for me, and I appreciate you guys being a part of my journey. It would not have been the same this year without you guys, and so for those of you who choose to come back and see me, I appreciate it. And for those of you who don't, I understand that one also. I told you, somber and serious was what I was aiming for. For some of you, if you connect to me, then the sadness would be a different thing, and I completely understand. Tomorrow, we don't have 7th period, but you still see me because we have the awards at the end of the day. Find your happy place.